Good afternoon, welcome to my latest video. Now, in this series of videos, I'm going to be reading excerpts from books that I find interesting, but I'm not going to choose a particular passage that has touched me or made me feel that, this is the one I have selected for you. I'm just going to randomly open the book and see what comes. Now, this is a very interesting book that I got from the library where I work. It was going to be thrown away because it was a bit tatty and old and no one's been reading it much, but I think it's an interesting book. It's called The Journal of Albion, Moonlight. It's written by a man called Kenneth Patchen. I think it was written in the year, let's have a look, 1941. So we're into the Second World War. This is a very much an anti-war book. It predates the Beat generation of books, but it's written in a sort of very wild, anarchic and abstract way. Surrealism, I believe, probably had an influence. But anyway, not being a total expert on these things, I'll just flip it open, see what you think. Let's go. Okay, let's start here. July 27th. The task before us is not for apple-cheeked boys. It would need a ruder language than mine to describe our panic upon finding that the dogs have entirely circled the house in which we are staying. I had almost forgotten them. Their number seems to have increased. To machine gun them is to put shoes on seahorses. I forgot to say before that Christ went back to heaven. His presence was awkward for all concerned. However, Jacqueline, rest her soul, did make a dictaphone record of a conversation between Adolf Hitler and him. I haven't had time to hear it yet. I took a walk out into the hills behind the town this afternoon. Soldiers everywhere. They'd run off one way, then turn around and dash off another. I got it on finally. The objective was an old sawmill just at the toe of the valley. I dashed about without rest, now here, now there, stopping every now and then to get breath, but I couldn't make out which side was which. The uniforms were of two colours, tan and deep olive, but damn if I didn't see them changing clothes every little while, rushing through with it as though the fields of hell were after them, buttons flying off all over the lot. Then there was a sad, whiskered old boy who just moseyed around looking, I suppose for a friendly face and a thump on the back. This was the more renowned of the two generals on the field. The other, whose daughter graduated from Bryn Mawr in the class of 31, just sat on an empty lard pail and scowled fiercely. By now I was on the tan side. The olive greeners were coming down the gully in tanks and Buick trucks, whooping like banshees. We'd thrown some big tree trunks across the road, just before you get to the turn near the stone quarry. I crouched down behind a little bush and waited. The minutes went by. I unslung my canteen and took a drink. The water was tepid and full of typhoid bacilli. Now the artillery was beginning to go into action. Somebody whizzed past me and took cover under a partially destroyed kitchen wagon. It was my friend, the lard pail general. Down went his breeches. I turned away in time to see 150,000 men pouring into the old sawmill. They were wearing dark orange uniforms. A great shout went up. In the excitement I rammed my bayonet halfway through my leg. Suddenly a lark sang. The sun shone. It would never be done shining. The old boy was still bent low in the bush. A branch shot off by a bullet fell smack on his bare ass. The fallen bodies lie still and dishonoured. They are dwarfed by the size and aspect of the monster, which moves snuffling and gobbling contentedly from one to another of them. Vultures circle low in the sky. I had a mean time getting back through the dogs. Thomas Honey met me at the door. can't speak, it's clear that he has something on his mind. Strange, eh? Mysterious. Confusing. You have to read the book to understand what I'm talking about. Eh? Try it out. See if you can find it somewhere. It was published by New Directions. They're not so easy to find these days, but you probably get a second-hand copy somewhere. Journal of Albion, Moonlight. That probably wasn't the best passage to choose, but it is quite a stimulating read. Fairly, it gets to, once you've read through certain sections, you start to sort of realise what he's driving at. It's very subconscious level stuff. So, mark my words, it's worth the effort. Seek this book out. Okay? Bye.